I'm gonna write that down and we'll keep tabs on it throughout the day, just as we will keep tabs on this draft that we're diving into right now. Of course, Fearless means that none of the five champions on either side that we saw in game number 1 will be played. Let's see what bans we're going to get this time. I imagine, like, it's always game 2 that the Azir bans start coming out. We'll see whether that's something that T1 or Gen G are going to look towards. Is the Galio going to be first cab off the rank?
Yeah, I came out of draft kind of thinking, T1 maybe didn't. For me, I think Gen G had maybe the edge in draft, but T1 now onto red side, Gen G had side selection there on blue, so should hopefully for Gen G help them out a little bit in this situation. We see the Skarner ban come out, and then the Ashe ban. You kind of locked into that Kalista ban on 3, you would think.
Yeah.
So T1 maybe showing the hand a little bit early there.
You almost have to ban those champions, though, with how good Ruler is on the Ashe.
This means we might see the Nidalee open, potentially for Gen G.
They might leave a lot open. Like, who knows? Like, if you leave Nidalee open, do you then get Kalista?
Guys, you gotta remember, Corki now has a win, so we can't bully him as well.
2 wins!
2 wins.
It's a 2-13 type day. And he has himself an ace machine. Nidalee left up. Let's see whether that is going to be picked here. As we won't need to talk about the ace machine so much anymore, because he's been banned. So, thank goodness. Aurora. That's going to be the consideration, of course, especially for Gen G. Very much a flex pick. And that is going to be taken away. Nocturne stocks rising, I guess you could say. But I think picking away the Nidalee makes a lot of sense on the T1 side.
It's an interesting one because the Aurora is obviously very strong for Gen G, but it does weaken the Nidalee pick by having presumably an AP solo laner pair as well. Still, it's not the end of the world. Definitely could still take it, but T1 immediately going to slam the Ezreal for Smash. Very confident in that pick for him, even though it is his only loss. But if you watch the game, you know.
Yeah. Didn't look like a loss for him.
He did everything he could, and more. Still wasn't quite enough for that game, but definitely proficient on this champion. Now T1 looking to very early secure this Ezreal Leona lane. It is a strong lane, and it does put pressure on Gen G because you don't have that much space to respond to a full bot lane lock-in. And it looks like they want to make sure they can do that right now.
So,
Xayah Rakan.
We have actually seen Aurora Xayah Rakan work quite well with the fact that you put down the circle, create the Thunderdome, then the feathers are sort of all over the place and you can kind of isolate the fight a little bit that way.
Yeah.
Xayah gives me anxiety, just in general as a champion. She just does a lot of losing.
I feel like the problem here is, you want people to come into you when you're playing Xayah. Ezreal can just sit at range and fire Mystic shots. Rakan and Leona, there's the potential to get stun locked and taken out.
There's the Azir.
And also, Aurora used to be really bad in Ezreal because you'd lock everyone in and only Ezreal could escape. Obviously, anyone can leave now, but Ezreal can avoid have to run through the wall.
Yeah.
And you have an Azir as well, so you have really these mobile, quite long-range picks, which I think Gen G's comp is already struggling a bit into what T1 has.
Not to mention, I feel like Gen G's composition is already kind of in a box, right? Azir, Ezreal, Leona, you can play them anywhere, right?
Yep.
So if you put whichever top lane and jungle that you'd like into this composition, it's going to look absolutely fine. And so you can plug some of the holes as this draft starts to come together for T1. Whereas Gen G, they're all about like kite back, trying to make sure that this Xayah is able to actually effectively do damage. And that makes things a little bit difficult. The Nocturne ban does come in, as they did prioritize locking away their bottom lane. And let's see what the last ban is going to be here. Nidalee taken away from Ona. And as he does definitely have his license, that is an understandable ban. Oh man, this is just so T1, this draft, if this Xin gets locked in. It's absurd.
Yeah, kind of when you look through the junglers that have been banned or denied, does stand out as that one you expect them to lean towards. The question is more, where will Gen G go? I mean, I guess, in theory, you could see Canyon pull out something like the Lee Sin is a possibility.
Yeah.
Wouldn't really be a fan of Viego.
Oh, no, not paper, man.
Yeah. Gonna look towards top lane first. I mean, I do like Jax in general when there's a Xin Zhao on the enemy team because he just makes his life so difficult.
Jax Sejuani could work, especially with the fact that Rakan works with it quite well. But that's a jungle Jax.
Yeah, it looks like they're going for the jungle Jax. And again, the place you're getting the most benefit from having the Jax is into the Xin Zhao. So this is going to be a really favorable jungle matchup for Canyon. And now toying with the idea of what they want to play.
Oh,
go
Silas.
Silas. I'd say ult value already pretty good in terms of the Xin Zhao ult, high value for survivability. The Empress Divide, the Solar Flare, both pretty nice, just generally team fight. Don't pick, I mean, I don't know why he's hovering. You're not picking Ornn into Silas.
Maybe you just want more choo-choo trains. Nah, it's Gragas. It's Darius, obviously. Wow, that would make things difficult for the Aurora. But instead, he's going to go back to that Sion. I feel like Sion is a very Doran champion, but it was Zeus' tank. Like, that is the tank that Zeus played. So it feels very T1. This particular draft, even if it is Smash and Doran playing and not their World Championship roster from last year, I think still feels the same way.
The big standouts to me is you want to avoid interacting with the enemy jungle as much as possible when it comes to T1, and you have a swap situation that heavily favors you with the Sion into an Aurora. Sion is going to be much more valuable, so T1 are going to swap. That is just an absolute fact. We're going to see how much value they get from that. And what Gen G do in response? Do they try and match the swap? Do they try and scout them out? Because normal lanes is what Gen G would absolutely desire, but we've seen teams struggle to find that. And if T1 get the swap off, I think they're in a really comfortable position.
He's not as much of a chill guy as you may have expected.
it's so many memes combined.
So many memes.
The crying face behind the mask.
He's like, I'm just a chill guy, it's okay, but Genji lost the first game. Yeah, oh my god, that's actually such a good meme.
So good, so good. Some of the, I mean, it's obviously drawn great, but also just so creative.
Yeah. Brilliant stuff. All right, so that's going to give Genji a little bit of extra power moving into this game, and they're going to need it against what T1 have put together for this one. Right now, looking at me like a bit of a 2-0, but we'll see whether Genji can find their footing here in game number 2. All right, the eruption of the T1 fans coming in as the robot Sion heads towards the top lane. But I don't know whether he's going to stay there for long. As you can see, heading back now, going to keep his options open. Not a whole lot of vision available here for Genji, as we can see in the enemy jungle.
You know, there's some connections here, right?
Oh, yeah.
Doran, teammates with Smash. Smash used to play with Reckless. Reckless now playing with the Baus, the Sion specialist. Just a couple of phone calls away, you know? That
is true. There is not that many degrees of separation. It's like only 7 or 8.
Very surprising, you know? Considering how many...
That's a friend of a friend territory right there.
Yeah, really is.
That's a believable story, you know? It's like, I actually know the guy who knows the guy, you know?
Yeah.
Brilliant. All right, well, we'll have to see from Doran's play whether he has been studying the lost returns.
So we see a situation where Doran is helping Ornn to start clearing the jungle, but it ends up being matched lanes in the bot lane with the Leona Ezreal into the Zyra, which, I mean, that 2v2 part is fine. Not sure if T1 were trying to maybe see if Genji were going to match the swap. They could end up going for like a 4-man dive bot. I've seen this before where the Sion tanks and the Sion dies and then his passive helps with the dive. Yeah. Very possible. This could really hurt Genji. And it looks like that's the strategy they're going for. Maybe the friend of the friend thing.
Oh,
maybe
God.
It happened.
Yep, because Doran's still here. Teleport is immediately going to be invested by Keen. T1 still looking for it, though. It's going to be a 4 versus 3. Is the knockup going to be interrupted? Doran already tanking, but he's okay with doing that. They take first blood, and now Keen trying to get what he can done. Carrier still chasing after Keen. Duro left on his own underneath this turret. The rest of T1 holding on to the minion wave. And if Duro's picking up these minions, it still feels pretty good here for T1. As Canyon moving into the enemy jungle, trying to make the most of a bad situation.
You see, great hold of the wave.
Oh no, he's in his own jungle, never mind. Feels like the enemy jungle with what they've been doing. As alright, Ruler running on over. They do have information, as there's the flash. Just doesn't really get much done. Grand Entrance going to still knock up Carrier, who has to flash away. No turret ramp available, so he's going to be alright. So in the end, 1-for-1, first blood going over to T1, but that doesn't matter anymore. As much outside of the gold that they picked up.
You can see that ultimately it had its desired effect in terms of putting a lead between the AD carries, but Genji had a really good response. The immediate TP from Keen, they smelled something was up, they expected this, able to mitigate what the dive could have been. Yes, Ruler still goes down, yes, he does miss a fair bit of farm, but this could have been so much worse. And you see the strategy, Doran is like, right, I'm going to take aggro first. Doesn't get the full charge Q because Juro's had to interrupt. He just doesn't care about dying. They managed to kill Ruler, and then they were trying to look for an angle with the passive, but Keen just walks out of turret, and they don't really have anything to follow him right now. In hindsight, maybe if they'd gone for Juro, it could have been better. It's hard to say. They kind of lost the momentum there, but it was... The initial dive, obviously, was the desired effect, but Gen.G done a great job of responding, and now they have a lead in the top side, and Ruler is starting to catch up. Especially he was able to hold the wave a little bit there, and now we've kind of returned to the swap, which, you know, we thought T1 would go for in the first place.
Well, we've got a teleport in from Chovy. Will make his way over. Faker still at 300 health, just looking for a little bit of a better back timing, I guess. Right now, pretty decent wave position for the Sylas. We have to remember that as far as Xayah players are concerned, Ruler is relatively good. I hear he's got a skin on the champion and stuff like that. That being said, he was playing the Xayah at a period of time where she was pretty busted. That was basically Xayah Kai'Sa every game, wasn't it?
Yeah, pretty much. Not quite in that level now as she was before, but he got some nice AD carry item change as I'm saying that.
Faker just got back to lane.
Yeah, not having a fun time. I feel like it's one of those things where when you're into the Sylas as someone like Azir, you lose the trade so badly, and then you try to make up for it afterwards.
Oh, the flash actually has to be invested. Chovy taking a turret shot, still feeling okay in the lane, but now no flash, no teleport, and no real way to get back into this lane. So even though the CS right now is even, Chovy should be able to find himself a decent advantage. And I think Chovy also felt that he didn't have a very good game one. He's locking in pretty hard.
I said in game one that Faker downloaded Chovy. Chovy got a firmware update, and he's now ahead of the curve. It's an arms race, but Chovy connecting those chains 2 times in a row, really getting some good trades on a Faker and providing some pressure.
Ooh, Kane looking for an opportunity here. Under smash, doesn't find the combo.
I mean, he's level 5. He's about halfway to level 6, but that ult is such a huge power spike. Smash already half HP.
Yeah.
You have to be a little bit careful. You'd feel a lot safer playing into the Xayah than you are playing into the Aurora Smash right now.
Keen is feeling very safe, though. Just walking into melee range of a Leona in a 1v2. Did, of course, have Duro relatively close by. You can see he's not too worried about how this game is going. Ruler should be a little bit worried as laning up against Doran right now, but there was a Xin Zhao lurking. As we can see, going to be distracted a little bit by this dragon as okay. Faker, no Emperor's Divide just yet. Chovy could steal his away, as he did just ding.
It's crazy just that the chains don't hit to connect with the minions there, and still Chovy's doing so much damage. Again, Faker answers back. But the problem is, if you keep trading this way, where like Chovy gets a good trade, then you reduce his health to about the same, you're going to run out of health first. That's how it's going to go. As we saw before with the flash.
There's no one here. I feel like that's relatively valuable here for Keen.
Yeah, we're kind of getting some adjusted lane assignments here from T1. Did end up picking up the dragon, kind of maybe get away from the Aurora on the top side, but Keen is just really being snowballed heavily by this. This is a sacrifice when you go for that play with Doran in the bot lane. You are giving up on top a little bit. You know that Doran's going to be behind. And I think ultimately the payoff hasn't been as big as they'd hoped. CS difference between Smash and Ruler very tiny, and because Ruler got so much solo XP, he's actually up in levels compared to Smash. So definitely a backfire here for T1 in what was their intended plan.
Yeah, kind of nutty. But we remember, game number 1, the early game looked really good for Gen.G. And honestly, their macro decisions, where they were moving on the map, everything was good. It was how they were playing together and the micro interactions that they weren't able to navigate as well as T1. It felt like T1 were just doing buttons better than Gen.G.
The team fighting from T1 was ruthless, honestly. And also where the gold went. But, you know, we have Keen on the carry now. His chance to make the most of that almost 1,000 gold lead he has already in this game.
And most CS in the game as well. Only by 5 now, but it was looking pretty crazy earlier on. So this Aurora could be a problem.
It technically wasn't a swap, but when you have these weird shenanigans top lane, you're so used to the top laners just having no farm, and then Keen just kind of vibing. I mean, this is what Gen.G want. You know, you don't pick Aurora, so you can end up famished in a swap situation.
Yep.
And they've ended up here. We've also seen Canyon have a bit of an edge in terms of jungle CS, and again, that's another situation where T1 are a bit weak in that jungle matchup, because if you see Jax fight Xin Zhao, it's not a fight.
No, it's not very fair. Counter-Strike does relatively well for champions that can empower auto attacks.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
No kidding.
Yeah. No, I've been commentating this game for quite some time. I've learned about the Xin Zhao Jax interactions. It's taken me a few years, you know.
But you got there.
Yeah, I got there in the end. That's the main thing. As Doran just getting abused here by Keen, who's taken the grasp as well. We've seen that was, maybe that's the tech that allowed Anivia to be a top laner. Obviously, Aurora, another Freljordian champion, going to be even more suited because she was already a top laner.
Yeah, and he's just annihilating Doran right now. And especially if he ends up going the Leandries, it's going to hurt so much. Taking more plates in the situation, Doran have to TP back top to defend. Thing is as well, Genji already have 3 grubs.
Yeah.
You're never going to be able to get grub pressure if the game continues like this.
Well, we saw last time Genji were able to get a whole bunch of grubs, and it did absolutely nothing to the outcome of the game. So, T1 fans, I would not stress just yet, especially with the fact that Faker is playing the Sandy Pigeon. And here's Azir has gotten T1 out of even rougher situations than this in the past. We'll see whether it can do that again.
Yeah, specifically against, there was this AD carry, I don't know if you know him, he was in the LPL for a while. Wasn't the LCK at first.
Yeah, I seem to remember something about that. I do remember the same AD carry doing it to Faker, although he wasn't playing this champion as Duro. That is not where you want to be standing. That's said Pigeon picking up a kill as well.
You know, it kind of feels like the plot of the series from Duro's perspective is he's just being picked on. T1 have targeted him heavily. They do so again. This is one of the things when you're playing Rakan, if the CC's layered, which was there beautifully by Carrier, you are squishy. You can't be locked down. This is why, you know, a lot of times Luna was picked into Rakan specifically.
Aww, that's a bit rude.
That's rude.
Well, at least he doesn't have Turtle Port anymore. Does upgrade that to an actual teleport, so that means that at least he'll be able to get to lane relatively fast. But instead, he elects to stick around for another wave. And Duro, yeah, wanders up on a ward, and sometimes you're just not allowed to do that.
Carrier does the ER combo, where when they're still rooted by E, you get the ult down. Just beautifully done. Leaves no time for you to sort of... Because when you E and then go for the Q, sometimes Rakan could W in time. This leaves no opportunity for that. And Duro doesn't have make treads or anything yet, so...
And you still get to Q afterwards.
Still get to Q afterwards.
It's like so much
Same duration.
All right, Empress Divide! It's all over the place. Is now Chovy looking to try and make his way out of underneath the turret. Carrier turns up. Duro's here as well. That might give Chovy the opportunity to get in there. Faker once again has to flash. And that is going to be a successful gank there from Duro onto Chovy's lane. Nicely done. No Emperor's Divides left, as we can see in that mid lane.
Very funny moment. It kind of feels like in an anime or something when they just use the exact same move.
Yeah, exactly.
Equal impact. But good moves from Duro there to punish Faker afterwards and get that summoner spell. And now really looking for Smash.
Yep, Carrier is here. Playcaller is going to get a snare, but not too much more than that.
Yeah, right window where you can really get uptime on the edge. Oh, nice.
Oh, yeah, Duro able to actually get out of it this time, but could be a little bit of an opportunity as the quickness does come down. Big cooldown invested here by Duro, but keeps himself alive this time.
I think Ruler just not quite in range for him to be able to E2, and that's one of the things as well with the EQ. You can't just ult when Carrier goes in and stop it. Carrier fishing a bit with that ult, but doesn't find it now.
Yep, so Chovy, actually going to get a stop onto Carrier's recall. Duro in position as well as now Keen moving over Carrier. I think he knows that he's not going to stand too much of a chance here as the ulti is going to be invested in Keen. Going to pay a visit to the Leona. It takes a little bit of time, but he gets there in the end as now Faker with no flash having to deal with Chovy. There's no ulti there as well. All he can do is try and shift some sands, but these sand soldiers are doing so much work. The chain lash not going to connect, and finally some buttons come off cooldown, and Chovy finishes off the Pigeon. Solo kill for the man in the mid lane for Gen G.
So lane is coming up big for Gen G. Chovy kind of waiting for cooldowns there. Was a little bit awkward.
Yeah, it felt a little bit like there was maybe a chance. But
he's like, give me a second, give me a second. Gets the rotation back, able to take him out. Dragon picked up by Gen G, and you know, we felt like kills were going in favor of T1 in game one, but the objectives in favor of Gen G. I feel like even more so this time. And they have the kill lead as well.
Yeah.
Things are looking really positive. We did see Doran get some alone time top and get some plates, but ultimately Keen gets a roam that has a lot of value for him, and the feats of strength picked up for Gen G.
Now, there's a Cloud Soul on the map as well. Trying to hold in my excitement.
You can be excited, it's okay.
It's always T1 games, man. T1 is so reliable when it comes to Cloud Souls.
And you know what? You've been vindicated because Riot on nerfing Cloud Soul, they said it's the strongest one, it's the highest win rate.
That's what I'm talking about. As, yep, Chovy just finds the Leona here. And now he says he's dead. And he gives the kill over to Keen. He's like, I'm going to go kill mid lane. And in he goes.
이거 미드 좀 붙어줘.
Cover me, please, is what he's saying. Everyone's coming on over. And you can see the Kingslayer coming back off. And there it is. Lands chains, lands W. All good. Cool, calm, and collected. And an Emperor's Divide. Going to get rid of him once again as the ulti comes down from Chovy. Faker going down so low. The double guards looking real crazy there as Ona does manage to take down Chovy in the end. Canyon trying to fight this one out as the train. That was not really the station he wanted. Duro going to try and get a knock up here, and Doran is pretty heavy, but he's not going to do a whole lot of damage. And in the meantime, Keen's still top lane, and so he's going to be able to grab a feat of strength, and Genji will get all of them.
Yeah, that was the first time we saw the Jax interact with Xin Zhao, and
oh dear. I think the Smash show is now starting as Featherstorm going to come down. We'll see if this Blade Caller can actually do anything at all. And in fact, it does a whole lot. True Shot Barrage gets the flash that Ruler still had somehow. And now Smash walking into the wall. He is very, very low. Duro goes in looking for Doran, but he's very tanky. Battle Dance will get himself out. The Q just barely misses. Needs a few more ergs on that one. And Keen not going to be able to lock too much down, but no one dies in that particular part of the exchange.
Yeah, able to disengage there. We see the replay, and as I was saying, this is the first time we've seen the Jax and the Xin Zhao interact. And for Ona's sake, I hope it's the last, because, you know, the initial play, he comes in, he just wants to show you the chain doesn't connect, but there's just nothing he can do. Ona's like, okay, Sion's coming, I can go back in, and Canyon just presses E, and then just bonks him. And,
oh man,
not much you can do.
And it's so easy to play into as well. Like, you see Audacious charge, and then you're like, oh, I guess I press E now.
Yeah.
And then he can't do anything. He can't even get out.
I mean,
so
look what he's doing.
It gets done.
The thing is,
yeah, this is back to live. And okay, ulti coming on down there as Canyon is going lower and lower. The Azir certainly takes care of him. And so Canyon maybe not as immortal as we thought. As Emperor's Divide going to connect. Faker thrown back towards Ruler is now Chovy. 1 versus 3. Great knock up there from Duro as the Emperor's Divide almost manages to get this one done. But oh my god, Smash able to get out the DPS and they win the fight.
Yeah, I think Canyon heard what I said. And,
oh dear, that one landed. As now Ruler, does he have the Blade Caller? The answer's almost, as Smash manages to get the auto and keeps himself alive. I thought that was the Smash Mad movie once again, but not quite enough.
Rare Smash miss there on the Mystic shot at the end. Ruler dodging away, able to make it competitive.
Proving that he's human.
Yes.
Is what we needed to see.
We've learned that now. But yeah, Canyon, you know, you block everything Ona does. You block the stun from Carrier. I think he heard what I said and was just feeling himself a bit too much. Ona also getting the knock up at the end when he tried to leap strike out. A little bit overzealous. And this passage in play, it's not ultimately that bad for Gen G, but considering the advantage they have, it's kind of just a one after the other situation. And you look at how low
oh my god,
one get.
Keen must be feeling so bothered after that because they were lined up, he was out of vision.
All things considered, really, Gen G shouldn't be fighting in a way where T1 can get that much of an advantage.
No.
T1 played it well, credit to them, but yeah, Gen G was strong, and I think they got far too ahead of themselves in that situation.
Well, that means 6 all as far as the kills are concerned. As Keen, this is a bit of a worry. I don't know about that solar flare. That was not really the one, as Faker is going to take a trip out of this one. Duro will be able to deter the rest of T1, but now with this Rift Herald making a visit to mid lane, that could be just double charges. I don't know what Sion's supposed to be able to do about this.
Yep, they don't have to pilot it, they can just let it go.
Yeah.
Looking for T1 here.
Four-manning the Gromp as if it was a neutral objective.
Canyon we learned from last time.
So it's 3 people that he might be okay with, and he is even going to be able to steal away the Gromp.
Yeah.
That's so sad. They invested 4 people in taking that Gromp.
Oh, but he's focused on the true objective. Securing the Dragon, Cloud Soul.
Yep.
On the way. Still a while to go yet, but he knows what he needs. I mean, to be fair, Cloud Soul, pretty insane with Rakan.
Oh, yeah.
And a lot of these champions.
So, Cloud Soul as well with Sylas, how does it work? Do you get like a boost when you hijack an ultimate and then when you use said hijacked ultimate? Like, where does it take effect?
I don't actually 100% know.
There's so many Sylas interactions that I just don't understand properly.
Yeah, I know some champions you can do that, where you can proc like Cloud Soul with like the initial cast.
Yeah, multiple ways is okay. Blast Cone taken by both Chovy and Ona, as they're challenging each other, as you can see here, because Chovy has stolen away that Crescent Guard.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, there's some ults where you obviously love the offensive ults for Chovy, like we saw Doran hovering the Ornn. Chovy would love an Ornn ult, but you know, despite it being primarily defensible, the Xin Zhao ult so much value.
Oh, yeah.
But this champion who's already notoriously difficult to kill, and into a composition where the main damage threat on you is Smash and Faker, who don't want to be in melee range of you, the value is pretty massive.
Are you going to be going home?
I think the highlight was that
steal away the red buff.
Avoiding the red. Smash is like, don't you dare walk through there.
Good support.
Yeah.
Smash is going to move in. You've got another support that's going back as well, as he does get the information that the red was taken. High value. And does
a deep ward there as well. I mean, it's a deep ward, but also he has the rune, the deep ward. You can see it has 4.
Yeah.
So it's a deep.
It's a very
deep
ward.
One of the deepest wards we've seen.
Yeah, I've never seen a ward deeper than that. Outside of any ward that's deeper than that. But like apart from that, never seen one. All right, Joby up here towards the top side. Ona was thinking about going for a little bit of a gank Duro in the area, just picking up some blood roses.
Yeah, we're kind of
bloody roses.
Where he just doesn't really do damage to Doran anymore.
And Doran doesn't deal damage to Keen really, and they've both just got grasp stacks all over the place. Keen with a whole bunch
a little bit now. Oh, and then
look at that Soul Furnace shield.
So big.
The lane was so interactive, and now he's actually down to 50%. This is kind of getting real. And there's no turret. Does he have to turn into a train? That would be so sad if he had to turn into a train against just a bunny rabbit. There's the Q. That's going to try and buy him some space. But look at this. Continuing to walk. Oh man, took a while. He flashed and ulted to get out of that.
Okay, so we've learned if Doran is there for like 25 seconds, then yes, kill him.
Well, Duro also could just be dead as another Mystic Shot going to go wide, but gets the heal out of Duro.
I mean, this is just how Smash played Ezreal last time, but he's so aggressive at finding windows to punish.
Oh, yeah.
And stepping up. Hasn't got rewarded, you know, when he did it on Ruler, just get a summoner there from Duro. But just the confidence, you know, I feel like especially when you are a rookie player, you're subbing into this storied roster and they're playing against Gen G. He's just playing the same, unfazed.
Yeah.
Plates off, doesn't care.
Well, let's have a look at how this Arakan fight does go. They are trying to gravitate, I guess, towards the top side of the map on T1, but now going for a reset. Looks like it's Gen G that should be able to get there if they would like to. Teleport's available from both top laners and mid laners.
Oh, and which Arakan is it? Is it? Oh, it's the.
Oh, is it a Voracious one?
Oh, it's a Voracious one. Interesting.
Oh, thank goodness for the buff, because I really wanted to see more Voracious. All right, Canyon demonstrating that whole Xin Zhao versus Jax situation that we have here in this game. Actually, not doing too bad. When it comes Lightning, doing a fair bit there. We're moving closer and closer to 2 items for Canyon on this Jax. And Ona does have his already, so in actually a pretty good position. Doran just looking a little bit silly there, channeling the blind Q. And Keen with a level advantage, feeling absolutely fantastic on this Aurora. Upgrades the shoes as well, utilizing these feats of strength, and now Duro looking for an opportunity.
Yeah, you can see Gen G working really hard to push their vision deeper. You know, they like that deep ward they had earlier. They want to do more of that.
Whoa, a deeper ward than the deepest ward you've ever seen? That's crazy. As Faker's going to be slowed down, and that means that he can shift some sands to get himself out of there. Yeah,
it took some time, but they finally got control of that bush next to Raptors, and now just going to be able to push in, look for this tower, but they see Doran moving over, the 2-shot barrage comes through. T1 do a good job of mitigating this. Very much this back and forth, though, just trying to establish this vision here.
And I imagine a lot of people are like looking at this game feeling like Gen G is in complete control, and they are. But I still think that this is anyone's game, and T1 demonstrated in game number 1 that it doesn't really matter how the vibe of the game is going. They can always just turn it on the dime. So Gen G are going to have to stay locked in if they want to make this one happen. We'll see. Arakan was a point of issue for Gen G, to say the least, in game number 1. So you can understand why they're a bit apprehensive to go for it now.
I feel like it's just a core characteristic. You know, you can switch out the top lane, you can switch out the AD carry. T1 always just has the ability to turn on at a dime.
Yep.
And
it used to be 20 minutes, and now it's 25 minutes for some reason as well.
Big nerf to T1, honestly.
Oh no, it's a big buff to game time, game duration.
True. They do need to refine a little bit and maybe work on the random Arakan start. I think they could do well with that.
I don't know whether that was a chain that Chovy really wanted to land.
Sometimes you just throw a skill shot. It's
yeah.
you're kind of hesitant because you're like, I don't know if I want this to land. Oh, Ruler, this is so aggressive.
Whoa, what's he doing here? This is crazy. Well, Keen is going to find the angle. Ruler gets out of there. Carrier stunned up momentarily as Emperor's Divide throws Ruler away. He survives for a fair while. In fact, he's still alive. Owner gets over there, finishes the job. But honestly, why? Why was he there? The counter-strike was decent. Carrier going down solo. It's Duro that's able to lock him down. But now Chovy is missing. It's only Keen left for the damage, and Smash is up and available. And so now all of them are taking so much damage from Owner. Keen has to sacrifice himself. There's nothing he could do. And why, Ruler? That wasn't even the Ruler spot. He was even deeper.
I have no answers to the question. Just completely out of position. T1 pounce immediately, and just as we were talking about the ability to turn a game in any situation, Ruler gives them a bit of a freebie. The fight still somewhat close. Credit to the rest of Gen G for making it close, but I have no idea.
Okay.
There's no explanation. Every summoner bid for the start of the fight. Smash does respect flash away from the feathers. And to be fair, Ruler survives for a long time here. Kills Faker. Not quite the same as that shuffle we all know from Worlds, but...
But that's the spot. That's actually where Ruler killed Faker, I'm pretty sure, in that 2017 final. And Faker getting some revenge.
Yeah. And you can see Keen kind of look for Smash at the end, playing very respectfully.
Duro is out of there. I was about to say dead. I'm going to be honest. I was going to say dead. It's Trisha Barrage searching for it. Thanks, Jonas Strong. Oh, fan reaction.
Oh, the dodge comes through.
Yeah, some sick reactions there from Duro. Sick reactions, get it? It's a pretty good one. Anyway, Chovy going to be clearing out a ward. And Ruler, not the Ruler spot, okay? Let's not do it. They do have vision now set up.
Normally it's supports who die for control wards. Every support main has done it.
Normally it's Ruler.
Yeah. Well,
I feel like he's back in the LCK and we're back to his old ways.
He wants to do it. He's there for his team. You know, he knows Duro wasn't feeling that well. He's like, I got it, buddy. I'll play this control ward for you.
Nailed it. Well, Gen G retaining their gold lead. It's not too much of a big deal, I guess. As T1, remember T1's composition, it ages kind of beautifully. You know, they've got the classic front line, lots of DPS. Like, this team should be able to team fight extraordinarily well as the game goes on.
I mean, Sion is getting just so tanky. And still, yeah, Keen, yes, can do damage with enough time with Leandries, but in fights, especially when you look at Ruler's build, he's not going LDR.
Yeah, where is the LDR?
So it is going to be a long time before you're able to cut through this Sion who's got, you know, Thornmail and an Ending Despair.
And then in the meantime, he's causing such a ruckus, keeping Smash so healthy in these fights, making it so much easier for him to play around. Not to mention Faker as well, as Chovy throws out a solar flare just for fun. It's probably running out of its duration.
Yeah, I'm not too sure on the Bloodthirst decision.
Yeah,
I guess concerned about the poke from the Ezreal and the Azir, obviously if he lands like a soldier on you, but it really does delay when this Xayah is going to take over, because you know, you're thinking about IE, thinking about LDR, these items are just so far away.
And you need both of them to feel really good about how this game's going, but that'll be 6 items. That'll mean that this game is absolutely gone the distance. Doran will have approximately 18 billion health. That's an approximate number. It might be more, might be less.
It could be more. I've seen some very tanky Scions in my time.
Yeah. Slightly worrying. But also, I'm worried about the age of this Arakan. It's like the oldest Arakan we've ever seen.
Things are getting super dangerous because not only do we have Baron up and Arakan, we also have Soul for Gen G in 50 seconds. And it is the highest win rate in solo queue Soul.
Yeah.
Is Cloud Soul, verified by Riot. They are nerfing it because it's the highest win rate. So, you know, that's to you, Cloud Soul haters.
This Arakan is going to start putting pressure on us to have children, you know, like really wanting to be a grandparent.
He's getting to that stage of life.
Yeah, it's really getting to that point. Just don't listen to him and let's just play the video game. It can be distracting sometimes, but it's okay. They just want what's best for you.
It is truly the most voracious Arakan. It's like, guys, I'm voracious. I'm here to make you have some action. I give you a buff so you can just, you know, fight.
Now sit down, like, let's have a cup of tea.
Please fight, please. Yep. That's all I'm asking for. Gen G get the memo, but different objective. No, they decide against it. Okay, well, truly the most voracious Arakan.
Indeed. Well, Carrier slightly out of position, I guess you could say, as Ruler, standing his ground here in this mid lane, does have that Bloodthirster as the cleanse comes down. The train gonna get the ulti out, at least, so that button not gonna be there. Faker looking for the angle where he can, but Doran tanking up for not a lot of value, and Keen keeping them all into position. I think Gen G should just take the win. Back away as Doran will need to re-up that health bar. No flash now for the next engage.
But honestly, I think this could be...
Carrier.
They need to get Doran reset. They need to TP him back. The question is, can they punish Ruler? He's now got no ult, no cleanse. If they can capitalize on that, it could be big.
Well, immediate CC onto Doran as he does come back. There's so much mobility on this Gen G roster. It's hard to hold them in place here for T1. As Chovy with that Solar Flare might be able to make something happen. Q not going to land as Doran gets seen. Soulforge comes up. He is going to be all right. So Gen G now over towards this Cloud Soul that they can get for themselves. And these T1 health bars are getting lower and lower. Flash in from Carrier, doesn't find any joy, and the train misses the station. The knockup is going to interrupt the Q as well. It's a bit of a disaster as Duro gets the quickness, finds the double knockup, and they will be able to take the soul point as well. Chovy finding some dash cannon value is now Keen dashing forward. Ona taken down solo as Canyon, darting in and out of the fight. They lose no one. Doran goes down, they get the soul, and the value's there for Gen G.
Just feels like skill shots weren't connecting from T1. They were looking but wouldn't find it. And now everyone on Gen G is so mobile, so fast. With that buff, it's going to be even harder to connect. Fishing.
Yeah, he wants to find that huge Empress Divide angle. He finds it onto 2. Down goes Carrier, down goes Ona. And that should be a ticket to Baron here for Gen G.
You just see when he's looking, the fact he's just running so fast, so hard to deal with him. Gen G, they get what they want. They manage to find the picks on the back end. And now Baron, Arakan, they can just pick up both.
Yeah. This Baron should definitely go down, especially without Ona available. No teleport for Doran to get himself back there as well, even though he's coming back up very, very soon. And Carrier 10 seconds before he's going to be alive again. True Shot Barrage! That was close. Does get information as well there for Smash, so nicely done. Man, that was so exceedingly close.
Yeah, I mean, good smite from Canyon, but now, yeah, double buffs. Going to be so hard for T1 to deal with. And we see Carrier looks for the stun on a Chovy, doesn't quite find it. Good dash from him. Doran doesn't connect with the ult. And then the turnaround play comes through. Doran just getting, it's slow, right? They're not shredding him, but eventually he goes down. I think Keen doing a lot of the damage there. And then this ensuing play, he just runs so fast. You can see in the bottom of the screen, like 500 movement speed.
Yeah,
normally.
It's absolutely absurd.
Yeah, Cosmic Drive as well.
Yep. Empress Divide, and he just walked at them. He's like, yeah, they're pushed up too far. Let's kill them.
Yeah, pretty strong.
Okay.
Do you see the last Whisper coming in now? 4 rulers are building towards the armor pen. But Gen G, so they got Cloud Soul, really fast, really hard to deal with that way. They got Baron for the pushing, and even if you try and fight them, they have Arakan. It kind of feels like a checkmate here.
I mean, they've got Exodia Plus, right? Like, of course they can't have true Exodia because Elder isn't up for another 4 minutes. But, I mean, they've got Arakan buff, they've got Cloud Soul, they have upgraded shoes, they have 6 grubs, they've got everything! As Keen is demonstrating what they're able to do with that, which is basically whatever they want. Crescent Guard not guarding too much of anything at all, as Drew is going to take a quick trip home. Emperor's Divide throws Chovy underneath the turret as Canyon dives in. They take down Faker before he can react as Chovy's flash on top of Smash will be able to take him down. And remember, he cannot even dive. Blade Caller value! And we are going to 3 games. We're getting exactly what we wanted out of Gen G versus T1 here in the LCK Cup. 1 Nexus turret remains. They've got Arakan buff, but they will not even need to really utilize it because the Nexus is just dead. And thankfully, Gen G are able to buy us a 3rd game and more of this amazing League of Legends.
Much cleaner game from Gen G. Felt like they didn't give over as much opportunities to T1, but some great play from Keen and the Aurora get a lot of value there. Yeah.